Hey, Miss Letta, Lanique. Listen, I don't plan on being here long. I just had to get something off my chest, and I wanted to say, um, how do I want to start this? Hey, Ms. Walker. Um, I want to make sure I'm saying the right words. I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say, even though I don't plan on saying anything bad. But I want you guys to know that as you grow up and you mature in life, and you start out 21, and you may be a little careless, you may be a little reckless, and you may be very, very immature at 21. But by the time that you are 29 and you're pushing 30, you tend to look at things a little different. You tend to be a little bit more mature, a little bit more wise, and you tend to be a little bit more calculated when it comes to your moves and things of that, you know, of such. So I know for me, when I was growing up, I always tried to improve every year. I've always tried to mature every year. I've always tried to make mature decisions and do things the way I know they should be done, in the way my mom will want them to be done because she's the one that raised me. So I pride myself on that. I have an issue, and the issue is people. You would think that people are God, and you would think that that they see themselves as God, uh, because they feel as though that they are the final judge. They feel as though that they are the boss that you have to beat at the end of the game. Those of you that understand that reference, they feel as though that they're the end all be all. That they are the final say so in what you are, what your life is, and what it has amounted to. Um, this is what they think, because they know you at one point of your life, maybe when you were younger, maybe a teenager, or maybe just transitioning into your 20s. And because they know you at that time, they automatically think that you are going to really think that you'll grow and that you'll mature or whatever. So they think that just because they know you at 21, this is how you're going to be for the rest of your life. But what they fail to realize is as we get older, we adapt and we tend to add things that need to be added, that we learn as the years progress. From 21 to 29 years old is a big 8-year gap. So in between that time, there are things that happen, life happens, and you learn different things, and you add it to what you already know, and that's how you get better, and that's how you grow. That's how you adapt, and that's how you enhance what you already have. So there are people that actually think that you're going to stay where you are forever. They don't have no faith in your ability to change or your ability to grow. So they continue to make you pay for your past mistakes. They continue to make you relive situations that you're trying to forget about. They tend to make you relive traumatic experiences, and they want you to relive different wounds and scars that you have gotten, and all the many times you were hurt. They want you to relive it over and over again, just like over and over again. Just a circle that just keeps going around. You just keep going around in a circle, and they want you to keep reliving these things, and they want to keep reminding you of it because they want you to stay where you are. And it's our job to uh, just either cut those people off or just simply ignore them. Um, Over the course of the years I've been living, folk have been doing this to me since I was born. I haven't been able to make too many mistakes without it going unnoticed, and without it going, without anybody not saying anything. Um, Being that I'm in the public eye, or being that I am who I am, folk has never allowed me to make my mistakes and have my issues and work on them myself. There's always been an instance where I've had to be reminded of something that I've done, or I've had to be it has to be thrown in my face, and I'm not going to lie, it tends to bother me and it tends to weigh you down because you're trying to do better, you're trying to improve, but in trying to do that, folk don't allow you the space or the opportunity to do so because they always want to continue to remind you of things that you done when you were 21 or things that you done when you were 18, and it's not fair. And when I speak to the kids that I've had the opportunity to pastor or teach or mentor, they go through the very, very same things, which is why being relatable is something that I have been very, very fortunate enough to be to the kids that I have taught and the kids that I have encountered over the course of my 8 years in youth ministry. Um, but folk want to keep you, they want to continue to hold you down, continue to remind you that you are the same person that you were 8 years ago. They want to they want to put in your head that you're a failure and that you're never going to get to where you want to go, because they always want to remind you of your downfalls and your the stumbling blocks and the obstacles that you had to go through that oftentimes were hard to get through. They want to keep reminding you of that, and it's just a way to oppress you and just to hold you down and just to discourage you. So I've taken the time to really, really try my best to tune that out. But I have to speak on it because, listen, I pride myself on being a loner, and I pride myself on staying to myself. And I do that for this reason. Um, you can't trust people because once you disconnect yourself from a person, whether you have an issue with them or whether you did anything or whether they did anything, it doesn't really matter. But once you disconnect yourself from a person, this is oftentimes what I realize people do. They remove themselves from you, and then right after they remove themselves from you, there's so much to say. Why you were friends with them, why you were going to dinner with them, or why you were going to lunch with them, or why you were conversing with them via conversation. Nothing negative was said. It was all positives. It was singing your praises, and it was telling you how great of a friend you are, and how great of a minister you are, and how great of a person you are, and how anointed you are. But the moment you disconnect yourself from a person is when all the negativity comes up. And what I've often realized, and I've sat back and I've seen, is that those that I'm not connected to this day, they do that. And I'm sitting here not speaking on anybody. They're not speaking on their ministry. Still giving props to people's ministry. Still giving props to people's personality and their character. But the same thing you don't get in return. It's always about your past and what you've done. But this all occurs when you're not connected to a person. So it makes you look and wonder, why isn't any of this said? And I've oftentimes realized that in friendships and relationships, people aren't as always as honest as they should be. Because if it takes you to be upset to say all these things, it kind of makes you wonder. Because I think all these things that are said negatively about someone when you're not connected to them should be said when everything's going well. And this is why I have to move how I move, and why nobody knows where I live. I live by myself. Nobody knows where I'm going unless I want people to know. Nobody knows anything. I don't want anybody to know anything that I got going on in my life, because the moment you spotlight these things and you talk about it, here comes the messy and disrespectful and ignorant folk coming along reminding you of this. So you can't really progress. You can't turn 29 and you can't be trying to build your business up. You can't be trying to mime here, mime here. You can't be trying to do evangelism, and you can't be trying to pastor youth. You can't do all these positive things, because every time you go try to do something positive, it's always negative attached to it on the back end. So it makes things very, very difficult. And I've learned this as a child of God, that this road is not easy. And there's been many a times where I wanted to give up on ministry, not a God, but just ministry. And he always had to remind me that this walk and this just journey that he has me on is not easy. You guys don't really too much care for how I present things and how I articulate things, and you guys don't understand why. But God has me in he has me in my own lane, and he has me doing things a certain way, and you guys won't always understand it, and my friends that I talk to, they won't always understand it. But he has me in a certain lane for a certain reason, because he raised me up to be like, when I was born, I wasn't always the most outspoken person. I was always very, very quiet, always very, very secluded. I said this plenty of times, but as I got older, I started finding my voice, and mime was a way for me to find my voice. And when I started miming, I started slowly but surely finding my voice. But as I progressed into my 24-year old, and 25-year-old, 26-year-old, leading up to now, I found my voice outside of the paint. And it's so many things that I pray about and like, God, should I say this? Should I say this? That I be hesitant to say. But he always gives me that weird push that says, go ahead, I need you to say this, because if you don't say it, it won't be said. And I need it to be said, because we're living in a time where folk are scared to be honest, and they're scared to hurt somebody's feelings, but they won't tell them how it is, and they won't tell them what they need to hear. And so it's crazy. But I want you guys to keep me in prayer, because it's a lot I'm dealing with. But we're gonna get through it, and I appreciate everybody for just their prayers and stuff like that. But no matter what's going on, just keep the fight and just keep doing what you guys are doing. Um, yeah. So a lot of people are calling me, so I'm about to get off of here. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. All right, peace.